Hey, how's it going, everybody? So here we are today checking out the CAASPP greatest hits, or the trickiest of the tricky when it comes to these questions. Now, the first type of tricky question you're going to run into is the listening ones. Now, these are deceptively easy. People usually feel like they just got to listen to things one time and just kind of wing it, and that's why we usually tend to get these wrong. So, let me show you how to beat these questions. First and foremost, read the questions. Before you even listen to that, read the questions just so you can more or less know what you're getting into before listening. So, what conclusion can be made on this presentation? Okay, so you're going to have to listen to the whole thing and come up with a conclusion. And then you're going to have to back it up. According to the presentation, why can't the system of government in ancient Athens be called a direct democracy? So, keep your ears open for that part where they talk about it being a direct democracy. And then we got this table to show the characteristics of each body of Athenian government. So these are things you're going to be looking for while you listen. So you're not just going to listen and try to memorize everything. No, keep an open ear. Listen for these things. And as you're listening, they purposely make it sound boring, trust me. But let's say you're already here, right? Hey, I think they talked about it earlier. I wish I could go back. Well, you can. It's just like YouTube. It's just like Edpuzzle. They let you rewatch. They let you re-listen. What did you say again? Let me go back. Do that as many times as you have to. And if anything, keep notes of what they're saying. Because listening in an academic setting is not something we usually do. We're usually used to reading information, taking it in, and using it that way. So listening, it feels easy, but a lot of times it's real easy to miss things if you've only listened to them once. So if you got to take notes, take notes. Do what you got to do to ace this part, because as you can see, there's 3 questions based on that. And if I go forward, there's another listening section right after. So 5 questions based on that listening. Oh, 3 more. 6 questions out of 30 based on this listening part. Now you see why I'm warning you? All right, the next part is going to be the literary text. So let's say you get one of these guys. Let's go to question 1 through 7. Let's say you get one of these monsters where they want you to read a story or they want you to read an article and answer 7 questions on it. Like before, first thing you want to do is you want to read the questions real quick just to get an idea of what they're looking for. Just to get an idea of what they're looking for. That way, while you're reading, you kind of already know. As soon as you find that answer, you come answer it, and then you keep going. Now, here's the trick with these. Here's the trick with these. 1, read the questions first, but 2nd, as I'm reading this thing, I am highlighting important information. I am highlighting important information as I'm reading it. Because the last thing I want to do is reread this thing 2-3 times, especially when I'm against the clock. So you want to read and highlight as you go. Anything that looks important, right now I'm just highlighting randomly, but when you read it, make sure you highlight. And as soon as you run into an answer, go answer it and keep going. And keep going. And then just keep going like that. And as you're reading, just kind of check back with the questions real quick. You know what? I think this was one of the questions. Let me go check real quick. Yeah, there it is. Boom. And then just keep working your way down like that. Now, let's see they give you one where it says, where we get this, right? What is the author's message about living in nature? Use details from the text to support your answer. This is a race question, right? This is no different than any sort of analyze the text. That's all it is. You just got to use race. So anytime they give you a written question, are there any other ones here? No, but in the other one, I know there are. Summarize the author's point about why scientists are monitoring the blue crab. Use supporting details. That sounds like race to me. And that's pretty much it. Check the questions, highlight as you're reading, so you only have to read once. That way, if you ever do have to go back and read some stuff, You only read the important things. You don't have to read around the fluff. And then if you get any written questions, most of the time it's going to be race. Now, the last kind of tricky question, you're going to run into the CAASPP. The other ones are pretty manageable. But these bad boys right here, right? Where they ask you for a more specific word to replace the underlined word. In this one, with these, what I would recommend doing first is switching the word with one of the options. Because I've already decided to major in mechanical engineering, I investigated colleges whose programs worked with my interest. I investigated colleges whose programs aligned with my interest. That sounds pretty good. I investigated colleges whose programs developed with my interests. I investigated colleges whose programs left with my interests. Nope. I investigated colleges whose programs went with my interests. In this one, it's very clear that it's going to be aligned. It just makes the most sense. Sometimes it won't be so clear. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to highlight the sentence it's in, highlight the one before, and I would even do it in a different color just to make things stand out, and I would even highlight the one after. That's usually about all the reading you're going to have to do to figure out the right word. What came before, what came after, which word makes the most sense. Because a lot of times you'll get an entire article and then they'll say just switch the one word. So make sure you read the questions before you even go into it. And this is how I would tackle these, especially as they get tougher. By the way, sometimes they do define the word for you. If you want to find out which words are going to get defined, you can do that. Boom, boom, boom. And let's see, there should be one more type of question we're going to check out. Where's it at? Here it is. So the last thing we're going to check out. The presentation contains language that is not appropriate for the audience. Read the paragraph, then click on the two phrases that are too informal for the audience. So when they're talking about like style and language that is appropriate or inappropriate, it's basically formal versus informal. So if you're reading it and it sounds formal, it sounds fancy, it sounds like like a professional would be saying it, then you're looking for stuff that sounds more casual, like something you would say with your friends maybe, or something you'd hear people in the street say. Or maybe the other way around, you know what, the paragraph sounds very casual and laid back, and then out of nowhere, like they switch gears and they sound like lawyers. So that's what you want to look for. In this case, our band has the opportunity to participate in a European tour with several other high school bands this summer, but that is, of course, an expensive undertaking. Undertaking. Although the organization sponsoring the tour will pay for most of the travel expenses, there will still be a ton of costs that individuals will need to shell out for. Oh, come on. That is why we are appealing to you. See what I mean? They just don't match. They just don't make sense. All right, check this out. At point blank, it's really hard to tell where the phrases are at, but just like with the definitions, you can tell which of the phrases they let you pick. Of course. In this case, it would have been those two. And that's it. So in the next video, I'm going to go over another set of tricky questions, and that'll be it for the cat. So thanks for swinging by. Take care, and we'll see you around. Bye.